my mission, you might say, is to tell people what I know about anti-gravity electromagnetic propulsion systems. I was in the Air Force for 21 years, and that's where I run into electromagnetic propulsion systems. You think that's something new? The Germans had electromagnetic propulsion systems during World War II. They knew they existed in 1932 because they had some. And they had the people that had built them. And they learned from them how to build electromagnetic propulsion systems. They recovered 2 ships in Brazil with crews aboard, took them to Germany, and their science started working on them right away. This is no secret. You can go to the Library of Congress and look this up. You can buy books that will tell you what I'm telling you now. And if you are interested in that, you take the time, you can go research, and I'll mention some books later and some people that maybe you've already discovered in your own research. There's a lot of other things that I'm going to tell you about is some personal experiences. When I was in the Air Force in 1950, I was stationed at Warner Robins Air Force Base. We were there on a secret mission. We were from the Eglin Air Force Base, Air Proving Ground Command in Florida. I don't know if you know it, but Eglin Air Force Base has the largest climatic hangar in the world. Anything that comes out new for the military is tested there. They can simulate any kind of conditions in the desert, the Arctic, North Pole, South Pole, whatever. Drop the temperature, lower the temperature, raise the temperature, blizzard conditions can be simulated in that hangar. I was working on a top secret project that in World War II was called identification, friend or foe. Later on, it come up to security identification feature. Now it's a mode 6 transponder that is in every aircraft that flies, the skies in the United States and most of the world. This genius that invented this thing worked for 12 years. I worked with him for about 3 years. And in working with him, when we was running the acceptance test for the Air Force on the equipment he was inventing for the Air Force, he would tell me other projects that he was working on. Well, sometimes I'd ask him questions, well, you don't have a need to know, I can't tell you that, that's top secret. But after a while, he would start telling me things, and I guess he grew to trust me. And then he began to tell me about other projects that the Air Force was working on. The Air Force knew that after we'd worked together for a couple of years that he had told me this. They figured it. So they called me in and said, has he ever mentioned this and this to you? I said, yes. And they said, well, how would you like to work on some of the projects? I said, okay. So that started a series of examinations into every feature of my life, my history, and everything else. By medical doctors, psychiatrists, and theologians, and professors of psychiatry, and so forth. So I guess I was accepted along with a few other guys. And we started working on some projects. Mainly, the one I was on was the development, the capture of, the investigation of anti-gravity electromagnetic propulsion systems. Most of you know that as UFOs. But they're not unidentified. They've been identified for over 50 years. And the beings that was on them became, after a while, till about 1953, when General Eisenhower met with them, and everything friendly. But they didn't know what we were going to do. Just ask yourself that. Why are they here? That would be the most important thing that your government would want to know. And that's what they tried to find out. This is an advanced civilization, 4 of them. They come from different places. Maybe you've seen the little grays or pictures of little grays on the thing. Those people are life carriers. They go to a universe and bring life to it. They're responsible for it. They tend, you might say, the Garden of Eden until Homo sapiens came on the frontier They maintained it up through the animal kingdom. They brought life to the sea, just like it says in the Bible. Okay? And they brought the first Homo erectus to this planet through changing the DNA codes of the evolutionary characters that they had caused to be seeded and raised on this planet, just like they did to a race of people on Mars thousands and thousands of years ago. And on other planets in other solar systems within our universe, which this universe in which we're in, which is out on the Andromeda galaxy, way out on there, not too important really. The place in which they come from, the Greys come from, in the constellation of Orion, it's the center star of the belt. And the planet that they come from, the solar system they come from, around that star is Tayeti Geti.